Hey everybody, what's up? This is 8-Bit Eric. Today's video is about what kind of systems do you, as a collector, like to collect for. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my preference for a little bit. As far as collecting goes, my main system that I like to collect for is the NES. Now I know it seems a little cliche, everybody always says that they just have a real high nostalgic value for the NES in their heart. And I'm in the same boat. The NES was perhaps the first system that I've ever had experience playing along with the Master System, so most of my life I just have those fond memories of playing some of those 8-bit classics, and I had a small but very humble collection growing up that unfortunately I traded in those 20 games that I had for a Game Boy. At the time it seemed like a great idea. I mean, I wanted to play, Tetris and Mario World on the Game Boy at the time, and unfortunately, it wasn't what I expected. If there was any way that I could go back in time and kick my little 8-year-old ass, I definitely would do that. I think that's part of why I focus so much on the NES as far as collecting goes. Now, the pricing of NES games is ridiculous. It's hit or miss. Some people price gouge pretty high on them when you go game hunting in the wild or in the flea markets, garage sales. For some reason, people just have this impression that a lot of those games are rare and worth a lot of money. And even then, some of the ones that are considered rare weren't really that rare. Overall, it's just a very fun system to collect for. It's still one that to this day I'll discover games that I've never heard of, never played, and then I'll just pop them in for the first time and find out firsthand exactly what they're about. And that's like playing a brand new game all over again. I love that I'm able to do that with the NES. Some of my favorite games, of course, the classics, the Mike Tysons, the Marios, the RC Pro-Ams, platforms galore, racing games galore, bases loaded, and all the other sports games, baseball games. Pure fun to play. And yeah, so now, as you can tell back there, I have a way huge amount of NES games. NES is just my first priority when it comes to collecting. When I go anywhere, retail stores, when I go to flea markets, when I go to garage sales, conventions, the first thing that I'm looking for is what NES games I don't have. I don't usually go for the high priced ones. I usually go for, the ones that I can get $5 or less, and then I move up from there depending on if I have the game or not. I do have a lot of filler titles. I know that Grimsy42 makes fun of me saying I have every common NES game out there, but so what, I like to just get what I can afford and what I don't have. So be it if it's a common NES game. I think it looks sweet having a wall of gray back there. It becomes a little bit of an obsession. I've spent a lot of money on it. Looking back, it wasn't really that responsible, but hey, when you begin collecting, it's just addictive. Next up, the other console I like to collect for is actually the Atari 2600. I haven't been keeping up with it that much, but there's just something about finding some of those Atari games that, just like the NES, that I've never played, that I've never heard of, and it's a lot of fun discovering those games for the first time. 2600 is a very classic system. I like it just because of how old and gritty and, inventive the graphics are, the sounds. Everything about the Atari 2600 just screams like classic 80s, and I love it. Also, I am getting into a PS1 phase. The PlayStation 1 has tons of games on there. They're not too expensive. There's a few heavy hitters like the Final Fantasies and that are kind of pricey, but these games are usually found in a lot of places. They're not too rare, they're not too high priced, and for the most part, it is a pretty good library. I missed out on PS1 when it first came out because I was a Nintendo 64 kid, and at the time I could only have one system, but now that I can collect for almost anything that I want, I find myself going to the PS1 a lot. Some of the games like Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy VII, tons of different games that I just find fun to play on there. So yeah, collecting for retro systems could be a great hobby, it could be a blessing and a curse. What I want to know today is what kind of systems do you collect for? What's your favorite systems to collect for? And that is it for today, guys. Peace out. Thanks a lot for watching.